powerful 6.4 magnitude earthquake rocked part of Northern California, cutting water and power to thousands. It shook homes right off their foundations, causing cracks in a bridge and trapped people in collapsed buildings. Multiple injuries and even deaths are being linked to the tremor. As millions are set to travel for the holidays this week, there are now winter storm watches and warnings from the west to the east, with some areas expected to see blizzard conditions and life-threatening cold. The system is headed to the northeast, possibly leading to the coldest Christmas in decades. Empty shelves in drugstores as a triple threat of viruses leads to a surge in the demand for children's medicines. What retail stores are doing to fill the void. Former President Trump's tax documents were rolled into a closed-door meeting on Capitol Hill today as lawmakers vote on whether to make his returns public. It comes after years of legal battles, what the documents could reveal. Hundreds of women jailed over decades for failed pregnancies, even in states where abortion is legal. We talked to one woman speaking out about her experience and why she fears the overturning of Roe v. Wade could compound the problem.
When you heard the charge, murder of a fetus, what did you think?
From playing a grieving grandfather at his daughter's side in the movie Till to a wrongly convicted father in The Rookie Feds, actor Frankie Faison is trying to portray relatable relationships and highlighting black fatherhood on screen.
I like to tell stories. I like to present truths, and I like to put it out there so people can make their own judgments about things.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Lindsay Davis. Thank you so much for streaming with us. It is a busy Tuesday night here. We are tracking what could be a doozy of a storm as far as holiday travel is concerned, with life-threatening cold coming right behind it. And word late today of Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelenskyy set to address Congress in person tomorrow night in Washington, D.C. But we begin in Northern California tonight, where a deadly 6.4 magnitude earthquake has rocked a quiet community, destroying homes, buckling roads, and crippling the water supply. The quake took place just after 2:30 this morning. More than a dozen aftershocks soon followed. The city of Rio Del, roughly 250 miles north of San Francisco, is being called ground zero tonight. At least 2 people are dead and 12 more injured. The water system there is down. Dozens of homes have been damaged. Tonight, a key bridge to Eureka, the county's largest city, is also damaged. An alert did go out to roughly 3 million people, warning them about the quake. We're standing by to talk with the director of the county's emergency services. But first, Mola Lange leads us off from Rio Del tonight.
Tonight, that deadly earthquake rocking Northern California in the middle of the night.
Structural collapse. Somebody's missing in the structure.
Homes shaken off their foundations, windows shattered, goods flying off store shelves.
At least 30 homes here in Rio Del damaged. The earthquake managing to topple this brick mantle and fireplace.
Ginger Porter jolted from her sleep.
We were woke up by a big roar and things falling off the wall, hitting us on the head.
The 6.4 magnitude quake, the largest to hit the state in 3 years, striking just offshore near the town of Ferndale around 2:30 a.m. Officials describing the terror.
First was a slow shake, and then it ramped up, and then it just hit like a house got hit by a train.
At least 2 people dying from medical emergencies, another dozen injured, and authorities fear there could be many more. The main bridge into Ferndale shut down.
Just take a look at this road damage here. Very, very severe. Some major cracks in the roadway.
Widespread damage reported across Humboldt County. At least 68,000 customers without power. At one point, more than 70% of the county in the dark. Authorities in hard-hit Rio Del saying it's a total mess. Gas lines ruptured. The entire town without water or electricity. Frank Wilson and his wife, Jolan, awakened to find their treasured grandfather clock toppled. Frank built the clock when he was in high school.
It's like
Very abrupt.
somebody had picked the house up and was shaking.
Darren Gallagher picking up the pieces of his damaged home.
I opened the door, and this is when I opened up, the whole front porch fell off.
Dozens of aftershocks, rattling nerves. Authorities tonight concerned more could still be on the way.
Here in Rio Del, at least 30 homes damaged after this earthquake. You can see this home, the brick chimney completely toppled, right now in pieces. Now, we talked to the folks who live here who say, despite the structural damages that they suffered, fortunately, no injuries, Lindsay.
That's good to know. Mola, thank you. And joining us now for more is Humboldt County's Emergency Services Director, Ryan Derby. Mr. Derby, thank you so much for joining us on what I'm sure has just been an incredibly hectic day. Stating the obvious here, a 6.4 magnitude earthquake is certainly a major event. Thousands remain without power and water tonight. Walk us through the latest situation in your county.
So currently we have just over 50,000 residents or PG&E customers who are without power. That's down from about 70,000 earlier today, and PG&E is working really hard to get that power restored throughout the county, anticipating most of the county coming back online by about 10 p.m. tonight. The majority of impacts in the community are in the city of Rio Dell and the city of Fortuna, and currently our Emergency Operations Center is working on gathering damage reports and getting an assessment of the total impact to the community. We're opening up a shelter at 9 Park Street in Fortuna at the Fireman's Pavilion there that'll be open for residents 24 hours if they're displaced from the earthquake. And right now, we're still very much in the stage of gathering the total impact reports from the county to get an accurate picture of all that we need to prioritize.
How was it for you? I mean, did you feel the impacts of this?
I did. So I was sleeping, and about 2:30 in the morning, just after 2:30, it felt like a truck hit my house and woke me up, and then immediately my phone started going off from there. So we activated our Emergency Operations Center at 3:30 this morning at what we call a level 2, which is a medium level activation. And from there, we'll coordinate public information, coordinate with our operational area partners, and get resources and information out to the residents of Humboldt County.
I know that we've heard 2 people died, at least 12 people injured. Is everyone accounted for at this point?
As far as I understand, the people who were calling for medical rescue or fire rescue have been accounted for. We're still getting some significant calls into our emergency communications centers, but the bulk of the calls happened immediately following the earthquake this morning, and it seems to have subsided a little bit throughout the day, which to us means that residential impacts are stabilizing a little bit in terms of emergency calls for service. But there's certainly some unmet needs in the community as far as sheltering that we're trying to address, and gathering personal impacts and public impacts to government facilities and individual properties.
This is, of course, a very remote part of California, but the city of Rio Dell, with a population of about 3,000, is being called ground zero as far as damage is concerned. Can you talk about the scope of the devastation as far as when you go out of your building right now and you're driving around the street, how bad does it look?
So our Emergency Operations Center is in the city of Eureka. And in the city of Eureka, we've seen some minor structural damage, particularly in the Old Town district of the city. Rio Dell certainly got hit the hardest in the county. We're hearing reports that their water system's down, their sewage is down. And in both Fortuna and Rio Dell, multiple businesses have seen impacts, with one grocery store being condemned and closed, and multiple single-family residences also being condemned due to structural impacts from the earthquake.
I know it's still very soon, but if we could think of a timeline, are we talking about a matter of weeks or months until some of the roads and bridges may ultimately be able to be repaired?
So generally speaking, our roads and bridges fared pretty well. We do have one bridge in Ferndale that's currently closed. And in speaking with Caltrans earlier today, they're bringing in some structural engineers from Sacramento to come and assess and work on a timeline. We'll likely get a more accurate picture of what that closure is going to look like come tomorrow once they had time to do their assessments. But all the major lifeline routes, the highways, have remained relatively unscathed with some cracking, but they're still passable.
I understand more than 3 million people were actually notified by phone ahead of the quake, and some were given an alert as much as 20 seconds beforehand. Do you think that the early alert may have saved lives?
Absolutely. The California early earthquake alerting system has been instrumental in the past year and a half since it's been implemented. That gives residents the opportunity to duck cover and hold on before an earthquake happens. And even if it's just a couple seconds before the earthquake hits, it gives them a little bit of time to prepare and brace for the impact of it.
Ryan Derby, we thank you so much for your time. And of course, our thoughts are with your entire community tonight.
All right. Thank you so much for having me. And feel free to give me a call if you have any follow-up.
Thank you. Next, what's already shaping up to be a Christmas week travel nightmare as a major storm barrels across the country, and right behind it, bone-chilling cold. Let's get right to our senior meteorologist, Rob Marciano. Rob, this Arctic blast could make it the coldest Christmas in decades. We're hearing from millions of Americans, and in some cases, it sounds like these temperatures will be life-threatening.
Yeah, very much so, Lindsay, especially across parts of the deep south. Right now, there's a storm coming through the Pacific Northwest and riding over the Rockies. It's not that strong at the moment, but it's nosing into some extreme Arctic cold air. And when that happens, it's really going to throw the atmosphere into some chaos. So a look at the map right now. We are smothered with winter weather alerts from the northwest to the northeast, from the Canadian border all the way down through Mexico. Look at all the wind chill alerts. That's where the damaging, if not deadly cold in some cases, could be happening across parts of the deep south. Let's time out the snow, though. We're seeing it in the Rockies now. By this time tomorrow, we'll be flying in Denver, maybe up through Lincoln and Omaha, across parts of Des Moines and in through Minneapolis. Blizzard conditions developing tomorrow night into Thursday morning. That low rapidly intensifying, bombing out, as we like to say, which means winds are going to be wicked on the back and the front side of this thing, and the snow is going to be piling up and blowing sideways, and the rain will be blowing sideways on the east side of it along I-95. We'll probably see some damaging winds there. So not only horrendous travel, but we'll see power outages in the warm sector also come Friday afternoon and Friday evening. We'll start to see the precip begin to wind down, but that low is still strong. So blizzard conditions across the lower hand of Michigan and those winds whipping across the lakes. Lake effect snow machine will be cranking well into the weekend. All right, let's time out the cold. This is where it really gets eye-popping. Minus 52 in Helena, Montana for a wind chill on Thursday morning. But look at Chicago drop off the table here. Friday morning, minus 34. But Dallas and Houston, are you kidding me, for Texas? Time is now to prep your home and your pipes for multi-day cold weather event. And then it pours onto the East Coast, including Florida, 0 or less across the I-95 corridor Christmas Eve. And as you mentioned, Christmas Day, it's going to be the coldest Christmas day for many cities in decades. But records aside, it's just going to be a wild and unfortunately very wicked in a bad way weather week as we head into the Christmas holiday. Lindsay?
And we saw 41 degrees in Miami. It just looks and feels brutal. Rob, our thanks to you. The worst of that storm is set to strike some of the nation's largest airports during one of the busiest travel times of the year. Chicago, Detroit, New York are all bracing for impact. ABC's Gio Benitez is at LaGuardia Airport tonight with how this could impact your holiday trip.
Tonight, that powerful winter storm and life-threatening cold behind it are threatening to disrupt the holiday travel plans for millions of families on the busiest week of the year. In Linden, Washington, near the Canadian border, blinding snow and blizzard-like winds. On Interstate 5 near Everett overnight, this tractor-trailer nearly going over an embankment. Traffic snarled for miles. The storm track taking it through major cities with critical airports. Chicago, Detroit, New York. Storms in these locations could cause travel ripple effects across the country. In Chicago, where they could get a foot of snow this week, officials say they're ready.
350 pieces of snow removal equipment, 5,000 tons of salt, and I think it's 40,000 gallons of de-icer.
Travel experts warning the combination of airlines reducing flights and pre-pandemic holiday demand mean flights are up to 95% full. That means if yours gets canceled, it can be harder than ever to rebook.
Passengers that are looking forward to that center seat being open, probably not going to see that through the traveling holidays. It's going to require some understanding on both sides, both the passenger and the airline, in order to get everybody where they need to be.
Gio Benitez joins us now from LaGuardia Airport. Gio, what advice are airlines giving travelers as that storm moves across the country?
Well, Lindsay, all of the major airlines say that Thursday and Friday, they're going to be the busiest, but they're already offering free changes because of that weather you just mentioned. So here's what you need to do. You need to download the airlines app on your phone right away and do that ahead of time, ahead of your flight. That way, if you see any cancellations or delays, you can act quickly and do it yourself, make those changes. It's usually a lot faster than trying to get on the phone with customer service, Lindsay.
You got that right. Hours delays quite often on those phones. Gio, some good tips there. Thanks so much. Now to late word from Washington today that Ukrainian President Zelenskyy plans to visit the U.S. Capitol tomorrow. This is his first time outside of Ukraine since the war began. Let's go right to ABC's Rachel Scott. Rachel, tell us the latest on these plans.
Well, this is all going to be dependent on security, Lindsay. That's what sources are telling me, which is exactly why this has been held to a very close-knit group. But multiple sources are telling me tonight that President Zelenskyy is expected to visit Capitol Hill tomorrow to address a joint session of Congress. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi telling all members to show up in person for a very special focus on democracy. We are told that he is also expected to visit the White House as well. You said that this would be his first visit out of Ukraine since the war started with Russia. We all remember what he told David Muir when they sat down for that exclusive interview in Kyiv, that he would be willing to travel to the United States, but that the reason would have to be significant. And so the timing on this is notable because it does come as Congress is considering an additional $45 billion in aid to Ukraine, and as the administration is expected to announce a new round of military assistance, including Patriot missile defense systems, and that is something that Zelenskyy has been pleading for. Lindsay.
Certainly is. Rachel Scott, our thanks to you. Now to the crisis at the southern border. One day after the Supreme Court temporarily halted the lifting of the pandemic-era Title 42 policy that has restricted migrants from seeking asylum. Let's go to ABC's Maria Villarreal, who's at the border. Maria, you've been on both sides of the border today. Just give us a sense of the reaction there from migrants and from local officials after the Supreme Court ordered that temporary halt on lifting Title 42.
You know, just a few minutes ago, I was speaking with some of the migrants that are here on the streets of El Paso. Many of them don't even know what Title 42 is. They are really going on the intel, the information that they are being given by the smugglers that are bringing them here to the border. Many of them are telling them now is the time to come and get into the United States. This is your best chance, which is why a lot of them are coming across right now. The woman I spoke with has 2 children. She came here from Venezuela. She doesn't have family or friends nearby. She's going to Dallas hoping that she might be able to find work while she's there. In the meantime, she stayed at a hotel, and now she's going to stay at a church overnight. But it was really interesting, Lindsay, just speaking to the 2 kids. They tried to talk with me in English. They want to be here. They want to be respectful of the process, and they're willing to seek asylum however they can.
And how is the White House responding to the Supreme Court, and what's happening next? What's expected to happen next?
You know, they just submitted their reply to the U.S. Supreme Court. They are asking the U.S. Supreme Court to reject the bid that was submitted by those GOP-led states. However, in the meantime, they're also asking that Title 42 stick around just a little bit longer. Look, it's very clear if you look behind me, if you look at the video that we shot earlier today, these migrants continue to come over in very large groups, and local leaders are very concerned that there is another surge that will come over when Title 42 ends. We walked alongside the Texas military this afternoon. Their troops are stationed at the river that separates El Paso from Mexico. They have their Humvees. They are armed. They are ready to go. But by delaying this a little bit longer, it gives them, as well as local law enforcement, Border Patrol, leaders in powerful positions, even Congress, more time to figure out how do we best respond to what is happening in El Paso and all along our southwest border. So right now, still a wait-and-see situation.
Still trying to figure out what the ultimate solution will be here. Maria Villarreal reporting from the border once again tonight. Thanks so much, Maria. Now to the rising triple virus threat as we count down to the Christmas holiday and growing reports of shortages of over-the-counter children's medicines. ABC's Kana Whitworth reports from Los Angeles.
Tonight, many parents across the country looking for children's pain relievers and fever-reducing medicines and finding empty shelves instead. In parts of New York, Colorado, California, limited to none in stock. This Massachusetts mom searching desperately. The FDA saying there is no national shortage, but there are constrained supplies and sporadic outages. CVS telling ABC News to ensure equitable access, they're limiting purchases to 2 children's pain relief products in stores and online. And Walgreens allowing people to buy up to 6 of those medications online with no limits yet in stores. At Elements Compounding Pharmacy in Los Angeles, they're ready to start making the children's medications 4 ounces at a time with a prescription. The owner saying the supply from their wholesaler has dropped dramatically.
We currently are getting a small amount every day or every other day.
Smaller than normal?
Yes, much smaller than normal.
It's not just COVID and or flu or RSV. It's like everything all at once. So it's just like it's a very stressful time for moms right now.
Nationwide, 79% of hospital beds are full and respiratory illnesses have been surging since Thanksgiving. Samantha Schumann says her baby Max nearly died from RSV.
Just had like red, droopy eyes.
At just 5 weeks old, he was rushed to the emergency room, entering pulmonary arrest and coding. Doctors saving his life.
It's an astronomical amount of gratitude. I mean, all I dreamed of when we were at the hospital was being home, all under the same roof.
So glad to hear that her wish came true. Kana joins us now. Kana, many parents are hearing this. They're understandably concerned. What else do you feel that parents should know?
Right, so as that concern sets in, Lindsay, healthcare providers are urging people not to stockpile those pediatric medications. They're also reminding everybody the generic brands are just as effective if you can find them. Now, if you can't, and as a last resort, you need to go to a compounding pharmacy. You can have a prescription from your pediatrician and have that medicine made. But you also have to keep in mind, Lindsay, it's only good for about 14 days.
Good to know that. Kana Worth, our thanks to you. Next to the battle over former President Trump's taxes, the Democratic House Ways and Means Committee has been waging a 4-year battle to see them, and today the committee weighed whether to make Trump's returns public. Ranking Republican member Kevin Brady warned it would, quote, unleash a cycle of political retribution in Congress and make American politics more divisive. Here's ABC's chief Washington correspondent, Jonathan Karl.
Today, boxes apparently containing Donald Trump's tax returns were wheeled into the House Ways and Means Committee room, expected to soon be released to the public after a years-long court battle. Major presidential candidates have traditionally released their tax returns, but not Trump.
They've been under order for a long time. The IRS does not treat me well.
Democrats argued they needed to see the returns to inform legislation and new guidelines around presidential ethics. Just last month, the Supreme Court ruled against Trump's efforts to keep them secret. But with only a few weeks before Republicans take over Congress, Democrats had little time to review the documents.
I firmly believe that it is in the public interest to have as much transparency as possible, so yes.
The top Republican on the committee warned this would set a dangerous precedent, giving future Congresses, Democrat or Republican,
nearly unlimited power to target and make public the tax returns of private citizens. And not just private citizens, political enemies, business and labor leaders, or even the returns of Supreme Court justices themselves.
Jonathan Karl joins us now from Washington. John, the former president always insisted that his returns were being audited, and that's why he couldn't release them. But as we know, other presidents, as well as most major presidential candidates, have released their returns. So what was the difference for Trump?
Well, look, virtually every other major presidential candidate for the last half century. In fact, you'd have to go all the way back to before Richard Nixon to see an elected president who didn't voluntarily release tax returns. To find the last who didn't, it would be Gerald Ford, who of course took over when Nixon resigned. He didn't release his actual tax returns, but released a detailed summary of his taxes. So really, for the last half century, there is no precedent for a president not releasing their tax returns. Unclear why he'd be different. Obviously, he is somebody who at least claimed to be much wealthier than any of his predecessors. But you know, the excuse he always offered, as you mentioned, was being audited. Presidents, as a matter of course, go through audits. So that certainly isn't an excuse that carries much weight.
And at some point, there's a resolution to the audits as well. So Jonathan Karl in Washington for us. Thanks so much, John.
Thank you, Lindsay.
And when we come back, the desperate race to save an 80-year-old great-grandmother and a 3-year-old child trapped beneath a car. Legendary actor Frankie Faison tells us about the recent film project that he believes brings some justice to the 1955 murder of a teenage boy. Losing a pregnancy to miscarriage or stillbirth is not uncommon and can often be unexplained. Still, many women have been prosecuted over failed pregnancies. Tonight, one woman arrested after losing her pregnancy speaks to ABC News and reveals why she believes we'll start seeing even more of these cases. This is ABC News Live.
The crush of families here in Poland.
At refugee centers
In Putin's Russia.
On the ground in Ukraine.
Close to the front line.
Here at the White House. Destructive Cat 4 storm.
Here along I-5.
Boston is in the bullseye. Let's go.
ABC News Live, America's #1 streaming news. Anytime, anywhere. Streaming 24/7, straight to you for free.
Thank you for making ABC News Live America's #1 streaming news.
Get ready, America, every Friday.
The hottest trends, styles, and must-have. What's the right stuff to buy right now? I really love that. It's time to buy the right stuff.
Yes.
And save big time, too.
The right stuff.
Fridays on GMA. You're going to love it.
Name?
Special Agent Will Trent, Georgia Bureau investigation.
Will sees things that no one else does.
There's a kidnapping.
Oh, I love some good old-fashioned detective work.
You read that crime scene like it was a book.
I bet I can solve this tonight.
You made a bet on this?
So an opportunity to make a little cash.
Why Will Trent?
He's good police, and he's objectively hot.
Plus, I'm a pretty observant guy.
This is the place where they found Gloria's body.
What do you think?
I think I'm angry.
TV's best new drama is now streaming on Hulu.
We can choose to fight and to not back down.
Boots on the ground. It's time.
Swank and Dove have terrific chemistry.
Someone has to expose these guys.
You expose people. You worry about blowback?
That sounds like a threat.
A superior show with a shocking twist you don't want to miss.
Please don't do this.
Alaska Daily, now streaming on Hulu.
With so much happening these days, it's hard to keep up.
Things change hour by hour, minute by minute.
The historic weather that's now unfolding.
The worries on Wall Street.
We're bringing you the Right Now. Been a nationwide teacher shortage.
The Right Now look at the day ahead. An alert this morning for dog owners and the key takeaways from the biggest stories.
World News Now and America This Morning, America's #1 early morning news.
Today does feel a little different. Early mornings on ABC News Live.
With so much at stake, so much on the line, more Americans turn here than any other newscast. ABC News World News Tonight with David Muir, America's #1 most watched newscast across all of television.
Bank robbery! Starting January 3rd, The Rookie moves to Tuesdays, and they're teaming up with the feds for an action-packed crossover event.
This suspect is extremely dangerous.
The Rookie crossover event starts Tuesday, January 3rd on ABC.
As of today, in a big way, we have inaugurated abcnews.com.
A lot has changed in our world since Peter made that announcement. But what hasn't changed is the commitment to groundbreaking reporting and innovation at abcnews.com. And here's to everything ahead.
Take a look at these heart-stopping moments as police and Good Samaritans in Tampa, Florida work together to save an 80-year-old woman and a 3-year-old child trapped beneath a car. Before police arrived, the Samaritans had used a hydraulic jack to raise the car slightly from the ground. The driver told police when he backed out of a parking space, he simply did not see the woman pushing her great-granddaughter in a stroller. They were both pulled to safety. The great-grandmother was taken to the hospital in critical condition. The toddler is said to be stable. For any family, losing a pregnancy to miscarriage or stillbirth can be a devastating experience. It's not uncommon in this country, and often the cause of pregnancy loss remains a mystery. Still, hundreds of American women have been investigated and prosecuted over their failed pregnancies in the last 50 years, some even spending years in prison and in states where abortion is legal. Tonight, one of those women is speaking out publicly, sharing her personal experience and why she says the overturning of Roe v. Wade may make prosecutions like the one that she faced much more common. Here's Devin Dwyer.
Very traumatic, nightmarish experience.
It was a nightmare Chelsea Becker says no pregnant woman should endure.
I was homeless throughout my pregnancy, and you know, I was using methamphetamine. I felt like, you know, once the baby would come, that everything would snap into place. But when the stillbirth happened, it crushed me.
A crushing loss after 38 weeks of pregnancy, compounded, she says, by what came next.
When you heard the charge, murder of a fetus, what did you think?
They said that I was under arrest for homicide. They asked if I would like to go to the police station and speak with them, and I was like, no, I think that I will just go to jail at this point.
Sounds like you were just numb.
Yeah.
Completely.
Absolutely.
It was November 2019 in the city of Hanford, a rural working-class community in California's Central Valley. Becker, then 25 years old, had a troubled childhood here, struggling with drug addiction and unable to raise 3 children in a stable home.
Did you ever seek help to stop using?
I kind of just ignored that I had a problem. I felt like I was in control. Looking back, I know that I was not obviously in control.
2 months after the stillbirth, a baby boy she'd named Zachariah, Becker was arrested.
If these women were to inject their one-day-old baby with a needle with these drugs, everybody would be up in arms.
Kings County District Attorney Keith Fagundes, alerted by the hospital to drugs detected in Zachariah's system, charged Becker with murder.
The word fetus is in our murder statute, with the exception for abortion, and it had to be therapeutic abortion under a doctor's care.
Why are you the only DA in California in 30 years to bring prosecutions for stillbirths?
It's not unheard of, and you know, the way we looked at it, this wasn't about abortion, this wasn't about stillbirth, because it was about drug abuse to a healthy, viable fetus.
But is that the answer, to lock all these people up?
You know,
that are addicts?
I wish it wasn't the answer, but I know that it's effective.
The Kings County medical examiner said drug use caused the death of Becker's baby. Her legal team argued 3 unrelated infections were to blame and that there's no scientific evidence meth ends pregnancies. Becker fought the charges from behind bars for more than a year before a judge dismissed the case for lack of evidence in May 2021. But the court did not question the DA's ability to prosecute Becker in the first place.
At what point does a woman have the right to say, hey, you know, this happened to me, and this may have been an act that I contributed to, but this does not mean that I intended for my child to die.
Since Roe v. Wade in 1973, more than 1,700 American women have been prosecuted over the death of a child during pregnancy. Adora Perez, also from Hanford and also addicted to meth during pregnancy, was prosecuted by DA Fagundes in 2018. She pleaded guilty to manslaughter of a fetus and spent 4 years in prison before her 11-year sentence was overturned.
You told me that these prosecutions were not about, in your words, exacting a pound of flesh.
That's true.
From these women. You weren't out for retribution. What was the goal?
The goal was to get them clean. You know, we can't bring these dead babies back. We can't undo the harm they did to the other children that they've given birth to under drugs. We can try to stop their conduct from moving forward.
Do you think it actually helped you get sober, to go through it?
What helped me to stay sober was having people that believed that I could be sober, that I could have a better life, and, you know, drugs are available in prison.
In response to the Becker and Perez cases, California's Attorney General issued a legal alert to all 58 state prosecutors, telling them the legislature never intended that they impose criminal liability on a woman for allegedly causing the miscarriage or stillbirth of a fetus. State lawmakers are now trying to amend the murder law to make that clear.
Addiction is a medical condition. Using drugs in pregnancy is rarely associated with a pregnancy loss, much less causally associated with that loss. Yet it's those falsehoods upon which some of these, legal decisions rest.
The decisions are a tapestry of American tragedy. Brittany Poolaw currently serving 4 years in an Oklahoma prison after a miscarriage and admission of meth use. Christine Taylor of Iowa charged with attempted feticide after she fell down the stairs of her home. First responders say they had reason to believe she didn't want the baby. It survived and charges were later dropped. In New York, after a car accident claimed Jennifer Jorgensen's unborn child, prosecutors alleged her reckless driving while on drugs was manslaughter. An appeals court later tossing out the case.
There are prosecutors who've told me that they see by their criminal intervention in those pregnancies, from their point of view, they are saving the babies. And sadly, the canaries in the coal mine have basically been Black and brown women who've suffered.
Marsha Jones was 5 months pregnant in 2018 when she was shot in the stomach during a fight in an Alabama parking lot. But after she miscarried, a grand jury of her peers indicted Jones, not the woman who fired the shot, with manslaughter for allegedly putting her fetus in harm's way.
This is truly a disturbing and heartbreaking case.
After an outpouring of national outrage, the local prosecutor reversed course.
We are incredibly concerned. We know that these cases have happened before the Dobbs decision. We expect more of these cases in a post-Dobbs world. We think that prosecutors will feel even more emboldened than they have been to police pregnancy.
Advocates for pregnant women say the Supreme Court's decision overturning Roe v. Wade is a watershed moment, clearing the way for state laws giving fetuses the same rights as people. At least 11 states already have broad personhood language in place.
Those laws can transform entire criminal codes and civil codes to apply in the context of pregnancy. Medical providers in states that are prosecuting pregnancy have been outspoken and said it makes their jobs to serve their patients that much harder.
Do we really want our healthcare workers to be investigating miscarriages?
I mean, we have them investigate child abuse. We have them investigate spousal abuse. We have them investigate mental health circumstances. They already have responsibility as citizens in our communities.
Fagundes considers Chelsea Becker and Adora Perez success stories from his tenure as district attorney, but voters in Kings County in June chose not to give him another term, tapping his primary challenger, Sarah Hacker, who will become the first woman to hold the job.
To have a DA abuse his power and overcharge a case illegally for the sake of forcing women into custody is disgusting.
And do you think voters endorse that view?
I would say that the voters in general disagreed with the way that the current administration is prosecuting cases.
To some, a small victory in a campaign for compassionate treatment of pregnant women, as Chelsea Becker, now holding sobriety and a steady job, vows to use her second chance to help others.
I think that it's crucial to, provide women with a sense of empowerment, and that begins with, getting clean and having resources available to them.
Some people will hear your story and say there has to be some accountability for Zachariah. What would you say to them?
At the end of the day, I'm the one that lives with the loss. I'm the one that has to deal with, the fact that he's never gonna have a birthday. And that can only motivate me to do better and hopefully help other women.
Her for sharing her story, and to Devin for bringing it to us. Still ahead here on Prime, the sentence handed down to a 97-year-old woman convicted for working at a Nazi concentration camp. And the shocking moment a train slams into a truck. Watch what happens next. Plus, a bank accused of charging customers illegal interest and fees. We take a look at Wells Fargo's $2 billion settlement by the numbers. But first, our tweet of the day. President Biden with a nod to Hanukkah on this, the third night of the Jewish holiday.
So much at stake, so much on the line, more Americans turn here than any other newscast. ABC News World News Tonight with David Muir, America's #1 most watched newscast across all of television.
This is where I belong. This is home. Real dirt in the sunlight again. I'm very excited. Anything could happen at any moment. My heart is so happy right now. We're making magic. We're making magic.
With so much at stake in our world right now, we wanted to thank you for your trust and for making ABC News America's #1 news.
And thank you for making ABC News Live America's #1 streaming news.
The website fully crashed.
A nightmare.
So what went wrong?
Everything.
When you hear the name Ye or Kanye West, how do you guys react? Is Ye an anti-Semite?
Nobody crawls into a barrel and shoots themselves in the head. That's a mob hit.
I wanted a little cushion for the cushion. If you get queasy, close your eyes right now.
Catch the holiday Impact by Nightline binge block, streaming on ABC News Live and stream anytime on Hulu.
From history making to history shaking,
High stakes, high drama. The year 2022 was
mind-blowing.
Insane. Oh my gosh.
How much time do we have?
the breakout stars, the celebrity romance, the music, and...
Wait, what? Oh my God, that was this year.
Whoa.
Great. Shut up!
It's the year 2022.
Monday night at 9/8 Central on ABC.
This is ABC News Live Prime.
Thanks so much for streaming with us.
Live reporting, breaking news, exclusives, award-winning, powerful, eye-opening. ABC News Live Prime with Lindsay Davis. Streaming weeknights.
Bank robbery! Starting January 3rd, the Rookie moves to Tuesdays, and they're teaming up with the feds for an action-packed crossover event.
This suspect is extremely dangerous.
The Rookie crossover event starts Tuesday, January 3rd on ABC.
Welcome back, everyone. Wells Fargo Bank has agreed to pay billions of dollars to settle charges that it harmed consumers by charging illegal interest and fees. Here are the details by the numbers. More than $2 billion. That's how much the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau ordered the bank to return to the 16 million consumers impacted. That includes 11 million car loan borrowers. The Bureau says that the bank must pay $1.3 billion for improperly charging fees and interest, wrongfully possessing vehicles, and failing to give refunds for some types of charges when a loan ended early. Wells Fargo will pay another $200 million for illegal home mortgage practices. The Bureau says for at least 7 years, the bank improperly denied mortgage loan modifications, which in some cases led to consumers losing their homes to wrongful foreclosures. More than $500 million will go to victims of illegal overdraft fees. The bank is accused of charging some customers even when they had enough money in their account to cover their transaction. The settlement also includes a $1.7 billion fine. That's the largest penalty the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau has ever levied against a bank. The bank said today that it has already resolved many of the infrastructure issues that led to the abuses and that it continues to reform. The Consumer Financial Protection Bureau called the bank a, quote, repeat offender and urged consumers who are still experiencing problems to submit complaints on their website. And we still have lots to get to here on Prime tonight. Who just bought 2 professional basketball teams and the record price he paid? And why the Mars lander may have taken its final photo. But first, a look at our top trending stories on abcnews.com.
So much happening these days, it's hard to keep up.
Things change hour by hour, minute by minute.
The historic weather that's now unfolding.
The worries on Wall Street.
We're bringing you the Right Now. Been a nationwide teacher shortage.
The Right Now look at the day ahead. An alert this morning for dog owners and the key takeaways from the biggest stories.
World News Now and America This Morning, America's #1 early morning news.
Today does feel a little different. Early mornings on ABC News Live.
This is where I belong. This is home. Real dirt in the sunlight again. I'm very excited. Anything could happen at any moment. My heart is so happy right now. We're making magic. We're making magic.
Nightmare.
So what went wrong?
Everything.
When you hear the name Ye or Kanye West, how do you guys react? Is Ye an anti-Semite?
Nobody crawls into a barrel and shoots themselves in the head. That's a mob hit.
I wanted a little cushion for the cushion. If you get queasy, close your eyes right now.
Catch the holiday Impact by Nightline binge block, streaming on ABC News Live and stream anytime on Hulu.
Get ready, America, every Friday.
The hottest trends, styles, and must-have. What's the right stuff to buy right now? I really love that. It's time to buy the right stuff.
Yes!
And save big time, too.
The right stuff.
Fridays on GMA. You're gonna love it.
Okay, it seems everywhere you turn, there is another wild con. And Friday night, we're serving up 2 juicy cons.
Wild.
What? No. If you think you would never, ever fall for a con, don't be so sure.
Friday night on 2020 at 9/8 Central on ABC.
This is the place where they found Gloria's body.
What do you think?
I think I'm angry.
TV's best new drama is now streaming on Hulu.
We can choose to fight and to not back down.
Boots on the ground. It's time.
Swank and Dove have terrific chemistry.
Someone has to expose these guys.
You expose people. You worry about blowback?
That sounds like a threat.
A superior show with a shocking twist you don't want to miss.
Please don't do this.
Alaska Daily, now streaming on Hulu.
At least 2 people have died following a 6.4 magnitude earthquake in Northern California.
Up to 80 aftershocks felt, one reported to be 4.6 magnitude. Thousands in hard-hit Humboldt County without power. Some homes ripped from their foundations, others up in flames. These storefront windows in Fortuna smashed to pieces. Items scattered at a hardware store in Eureka. You can see cracks on this bridge in Ferndale, crews shutting it down for safety inspections.
The former Texas police officer convicted of manslaughter in the fatal shooting of a black woman in her home in 2019 was sentenced to nearly 12 years in prison today.
Prosecutors had pushed for a murder conviction, but the jury chose the lesser crime of manslaughter. It's now sentenced Aaron Dean to just under 12 years for shooting at Tatiana Jefferson in 2019. Jefferson's sister, Ashley Carr, spoke to Dean after the sentence was passed.
Your service as a police officer is a permanent stain on the city of Fort Worth.
Dean testified that he felt in mortal danger as he checked on an open door, saw an armed woman through a window, and shot her.
A 97-year-old woman who served as a secretary at a Nazi concentration camp was convicted for being an accessory to more than 10,000 murders. Irmgard Fürkner served as a stenographer and typist in the SS commander's office at Stutthof concentration camp from 1943 to 1945. The court said she knew about and deliberately supported the killings through her role in the commander's office. Fürkner was convicted of being an accessory to murder in 10,505 cases and an accessory to attempted murder for 5 more. She was given a 2-year suspended prison sentence. A major collision between a train and truck was caught on video in Tennessee. The Norfolk Southern train derailed after striking a truck carrying a large bridge beam, which was trying to cross the tracks in Collegedale. Norfolk Southern officials said 2 employees were taken to the hospital and 3 locomotives and 10 train cars derailed. Chattanooga fire officials said diesel fuel and lube oil were leaking from 2 locomotives, but no other hazardous materials were involved. Billionaire mortgage lender Matt Ishbia is finalizing a deal to purchase the NBA's Phoenix Suns and WNBA's Phoenix Mercury. ESPN reports the purchase will be for a record $4 billion. Ishbia's purchase will officially end Robert Sarver's 17-year tenure as owner of the Suns and Mercury. Sarver announced in September that he would be selling both teams after a major investigation into his workplace conduct, including allegations of racism and sexual misconduct. The NBA had initially suspended Sarver for 1 year and fined him $10 million before he decided to sell the teams. After 4 years on Mars, NASA's InSight lander may have reached its end. NASA said that InSight, which had been weakened by dust for months, last communicated with Earth on Thursday and did not respond to communications on Sunday. The agency said it would keep trying to contact the lander, but that it may have reached the end of its operations. InSight is one of 3 landers on the red planet. During its mission, the lander detected a Marsquake and shed new light on Mars's layers and weather. NASA's InSight Twitter account posted a photo the lander took of itself recently, tweeting that it may be the last image it could send, but that the lander's time on Mars was productive and serene.
Welcome back. Tonight, there is a possible new lead in the murders of 4 college students from the University of Idaho. Authorities say an abandoned white Hyundai Elantra has been found in Eugene, Oregon, without its license plates. It's similar to the car seen on surveillance the night of the murders. Police have received more than 16,000 tips so far and have not named any suspects. After nearly 50 years in office, retiring Senator Patrick Leahy delivered his farewell address on the Senate floor today.
I could have never imagined that I'd one day etch my name into one of these desks, let alone that I'd have the opportunity to cast well over 17,000 votes, that I would serve with 400 senators during my time here.
Vermont's longest-serving senator is third in line to the presidency. He was first elected back in 1974. He thanked his staff for the last 48 years and said that they deserve the credit for his accomplishments. Now to a candid conversation with Dancing with the Stars pro and new mom Sharna Burgess. She says that she had super dark thoughts after giving birth to her son, adding that motherhood has been beautiful and joyful, but also terrifying, frustrating, and confusing at times. Burgess spoke with our Ariel Reshev so other moms know they're not alone.
Dancing with the Stars pro Sharna Burgess opening up about battling back against intrusive mom thoughts.
I'd imagined the absolute worst case scenario, and I felt myself having this panic attack, which I've never had a panic attack before.
The new mom to 5-month-old baby Zane with partner Brian Austin Green posting on Instagram, letting fans in on her experience with crippling postpartum fears.
Oh my God, what is that? The worst case scenario when I was with Zane, so walking downstairs and not just a fall on your butt slide down the stairs, but a full-on tumble and me ending up on top of him. The driving in the car multiple times, it would become such a very real vision of a car slamming into me and the car rolling and the jaws of life coming to get him out of the car. It's so real that it's paralyzing.
Studies show at least 70% of new moms report unwanted intrusive thoughts about infant-related harm.
The most important part through all of this is giving voice to these anxious feelings and making sure that you have the ability to bond with your baby in ways that are healthy and promoting good bonding.
The more people I spoke to, I understood, yes, this is something that happens to moms.
What are some of the coping mechanisms that you have taught yourself in order to get through this?
A big thing to understand is how crazy and chaotic those thoughts are. Taking a deep breath and really looking at the thought and saying, is this a realistic thought? And recognizing it and saying, no, it's not. And I did start therapy again. And I thought, I don't want this to get out of control. I can't be having panic attacks. And I feel like I need some tools to deal with this.
Were you nervous at all to share your experience?
There was an amount of maybe anxiousness or nervousness in sharing that, but definitely not fear. I think it is powerful for women to know that they aren't alone. When you think your issues, your problems, or your thoughts are singular, you feel very isolated. And to know that there is a community of people that are like, I feel you, I've been there.
Our thanks to Ariel for that. Almost 70 years ago, the brutal, gruesome murder of a 14-year-old boy, Emmett Till, shook the world. His mother, Mamie Till Mobley, insisted on Emmett having an open casket at his funeral, putting his disfigured body on display for the world. She famously said, I wanted the world to see what they did to my baby. The film Till takes viewers on a mother's journey of loss, pain, and unwavering resilience. Let's take a look.
Can I at least just fix him up a bit?
No. They have to see it for themselves.
You tell me, Mamie, how is risking your life gonna help them?
Those pictures of your son change people's lives.
Joining us now is one of the stars of the movie Till, legendary actor Frankie Faison, who also stars in ABC's The Rookie Feds, which we'll get to shortly. Frankie, thanks so much for joining us tonight.
My pleasure to be here. Thank you for having me.
So you play John Carthen, the grandfather of Emmett Till and father of Mamie Till Mobley. Explain to us a little bit about the relationship between father and daughter in the film and how you were able to capture that.
Well, it's amazing. I mean, I love father-daughter relationships. But in this film, it was a case of a father who had not been there in his daughter's life. But then in this crisis situation, he rallied and he realized that she needed him. He needed to be the father to be able to get through this situation. And so it's an amazing amount of trust and friendship that develops in a very short period of time between the two of them.
When you spoke of Emmett Till's story, you said previously, I had no idea about the impact this event had on history and in our lives. What does it mean to you now to know that you're a part of telling Emmett's story and the activism of his mother to this generation?
It means a great deal to me because I take a great deal of responsibility in trying to be a very good role model and an educator and a storyteller. That's why I became an actor. I like to tell stories. I like to present truths, and I like to put it out there so people can make their own judgments about things. I try to do it in a way that's fair and honest. So it means the world to me to be a part of this.
Unfortunately, the lynchings and killings of black people still happen to this day. Do you believe that this film brings in any way any semblance of justice to the story of Emmett Till?
Oh, I think it does, very much so. And I think that especially because of the way that it's done. I mean, we all know the gore, the horror of black men being lynched and beaten to death and all of that. We know that. So that image is already in people's minds before they see the film. But when they see the film, what they're going to see, and they're going to see the journey of this woman, Mamie Till, trying to present the truth to the world about her son so these injustices will not happen again.
I want to switch gears for a moment now because you also star in The Rookie Feds, where you play Christopher Cuddy Clark, a former FBI agent and wrongfully convicted man. You're also the father of current FBI agent Simone Clark, played by Niecy Nash. How does Cuddy's experience as an FBI agent motivate but also complicate Simone's journey as she carves her own path in the FBI?
I mean, this role, it fell right into my wheelhouse of the things I love to do. One, it's a father-daughter relationship. And two, it's a man who has been wrongly incarcerated and who has to come out and make something. He has to restore his life and his values. And he has to take a look at the world from anew because, you know, this thing could either make you a very vindictive, angry, militant person, or it can make you those things with enough softness that you can help other people who are in similar situations. And I think that is the twist in this between Cuddy and his daughter Simone, played by the amazing Niecy Nash. And you know, you see them learning from each other.
We're wrapping up The Rookie Feds first season. What can we look forward to as the season ends?
Well, you can look forward to it. The writers don't tell us anything. We don't do anything. I think one thing that you can look forward to is you'll be able to see Cuddy being a little bit more involved. You're going to see a little bit more of the edge, you know, that sort of changed him while he was in prison, and it's changed him when he's out of prison.
Well, a lot of excitement about the work that you are doing. Frankie Faison, we thank you so much for coming on the show. Till is now available on digital and will be on Blu-ray January 17th, and The Rookie Feds returns on Tuesday, January 3rd on ABC. You can stream it on Hulu the next day. Be sure to check out ABC Audio's 3-part narrative podcast, Reclaimed, the story of Mamie Till Mobley, available wherever you listen to your podcasts. Before we go tonight, the image of the day, a day of celebrations in honor of the Argentina men's national football team. Legendary player Lionel Messi helped lead his team to victory, seen here holding the FIFA World Cup. The men were part of a caravan through Buenos Aires where after they beat France and Qatar on Sunday. Millions of fans flooded the streets. Look at those images, all just trying to catch a glimpse of their team. And that is our show for this hour. Be sure to stay tuned to ABC News Live for more context and analysis of the day's top stories. Thanks so much for streaming with us. Coming up in the next hour, staying on top of a few things, the decision on a possible new trial for Scott Peterson, who was convicted of killing his pregnant wife nearly 20 years ago. And a new warning from the FBI about what children could be tricked into sending to online scammers.
With so much at stake in our world right now, we wanted to thank you for your trust and for making ABC News America's #1 news.
And thank you for making ABC News Live America's #1 streaming news.
Okay, it seems everywhere you turn, there is another wild con. And Friday night, we're serving up 2 juicy cons.
Wild. What? No. If you think you would never, ever fall for a con, don't be so sure.
Friday night on 20/20 at 9, 8 Central on ABC.
You never know what you're going to get on this show. That's all I'm going to tell you.
Yes, Whoopi! This mic on? Can you hear me out there?
Behind the
scenes is always a better show.
Absolutely, absolutely.
That's what people don't see during the commercial break.
Right, they don't.
What happened?
I had no idea really what I was getting myself into.
That day that we walked out, I treasure that day.
I couldn't sit there.
You're doing good, Joy. You're doing good.
Oh, yeah, baby.
It was crazy.
Behind the Table. Listen wherever you get your podcasts.
From America's #1 news source comes the all-new ABC News app. Breaking news, incredible video, faster, smarter. And it can customize to you and your interests. If you love being in the know, you're gonna love this. Experience what all the buzz is about. Experience the all-new ABC News app. Download it now. We're honored ABC's 2020 winner of 3 Emmy Awards for excellence. Thank you for making 2020 Friday night's most watched and most honored news magazine.
This is where I belong. This is home. Real dirt in the sunlight again. I'm very excited. Anything could happen at any moment. My heart is so happy right now. We're making magic. We're making magic.
Hey there, I'm Lindsay Davis. Thank you so much for streaming with us. We're monitoring several developments here at ABC News at this hour. The city of Buffalo, New York has filed a lawsuit suing ghost gun companies, gun manufacturers, and other firearm industry members for practices allegedly fueling gun violence in the city. 10 people were killed in a mass shooting at a grocery store in a predominantly black Buffalo neighborhood last May. The mayor said the aim of the lawsuits is to fight illegal gun possession by holding gun makers accountable for how weapons are marketed and distributed. FTX founder Sam Bankman-Fried signed papers paving the way for his extradition from the Bahamas to the U.S. today. He faces charges in the U.S. over the cryptocurrency exchange's collapse. He's scheduled to appear in a Bahamian court tomorrow. And a California judge rejected Scott Peterson's request for a new trial. It's been nearly 20 years since he was charged with dumping the bodies of his pregnant wife, Lacey, and their unborn child into a San Francisco bay. Peterson alleged that his trial was tainted by a jury who lied about her own history of abuse to get on the panel that sentenced him to death. Now to Northern California, where a deadly 6.4 magnitude earthquake has rocked a quiet community, destroying homes, buckling roads, and crippling the water supply. The quake took place just after 2:30 this morning. More than a dozen aftershocks then followed. The city of Rio Dell, roughly 250 miles north of San Francisco, is being called ground zero tonight. At least 2 people have died, another at least 12 more injured. The water system there is down and dozens of homes have been damaged. Mola Lengi reports in tonight from Rio Dell.
Tonight, that deadly earthquake rocking Northern California in the middle of the night.
Structural collapse. Somebody's missing in the structure.
Homes shaken off their foundations, windows shattered, goods flying off store shelves.
At least 30 homes here in Rio Dell damaged. The earthquake managing to topple this brick mantle and fireplace.
Ginger Porter jolted from her sleep.
We were woke up by a big roar and things falling off the wall, hitting us on the head.
The 6.4 magnitude quake, the largest to hit the state in 3 years, striking just offshore near the town of Ferndale around 2:30 a.m. Officials describing the terror.
First was a slow shake, and then it ramped up, and then it just hit like a house got hit by a train.
At least 2 people dying from medical emergencies, another dozen injured, and authorities fear there could be many more. The main bridge into Ferndale shut down.
Just take a look at this road damage here. Very, very severe. Some major cracks in the roadway.
Widespread damage reported across Humboldt County. At least 68,000 customers without power. At one point, more than 70% of the county in the dark. Authorities in hard-hit Rio Dell saying it's a total mess. Gas lines ruptured. The entire town without water or electricity. Frank Wilson and his wife, Jolan, awakened to find their treasured grandfather clock toppled. Frank built the clock when he was in high school.
It's like
very abrupt.
Somebody had picked the house up and was shaking.
Darren Gallagher picking up the pieces of his damaged home.
I opened the door and this is what I opened up to. Whole front porch fell off.
Dozens of aftershocks, rattling nerves. Authorities tonight concerned more could still be on the way.
Here in Rio Dell, at least 30 homes damaged after this earthquake. You can see this home, the brick chimney completely toppled, right now in pieces. Now, we talked to the folks who live here who say, despite the structural damages that they suffered, fortunately, no injuries, Lindsay.
Next, what's already shaping up to be a Christmas week travel nightmare as a major storm barrels across the country, and right behind it, bone-chilling cold. Let's get right to our senior meteorologist, Rob Marciano. Rob, this Arctic blast could make it the coldest Christmas in decades. We're hearing from millions of Americans, and in some cases, it sounds like these temperatures will be life-threatening.
Yeah, very much so, Lindsay, especially across parts of the deep south. Right now, there's a storm coming through the Pacific Northwest and riding over the Rockies. It's not that strong at the moment, but it's nosing into some extreme Arctic cold air. And when that happens, it's really going to throw the atmosphere into some chaos. So a look at the map right now. We are smothered with winter weather alerts from the northwest to the northeast, from the Canadian border all the way down through Mexico. Look at all the wind chill alerts. That's where the damaging, if not deadly cold in some cases, could be happening across parts of the deep south. Let's time out the snow, though. We're seeing it in the Rockies now. By this time tomorrow, we'll be flying in Denver, maybe up through Lincoln and Omaha, across parts of Des Moines and in through Minneapolis. Blizzard conditions developing tomorrow night into Thursday morning. That low rapidly intensifying, bombing out, as we like to say, which means winds are going to be wicked on the back and the front side of this thing, and the snow is going to be piling up and blowing sideways, and the rain will be blowing sideways on the east side of it along I-95. We'll probably see some damaging winds there. So not only horrendous travel, but we'll see power outages in the warm sector also come Friday afternoon and Friday evening. We'll start to see the precip begin to wind down, but that low is still strong. So blizzard conditions across the lower hand of Michigan and those winds whipping across the lakes. Lake effect snow machine will be cranking well into the weekend. All right, let's time out the cold. This is where it really gets eye-popping. Minus 52 in Helena, Montana for a wind chill on Thursday morning. But look at Chicago drop off the table here. Friday morning, minus 34. But Dallas and Houston, are you kidding me, for Texas? Time is now to prep your home and your pipes for multi-day cold weather event. And then it pours onto the East Coast, including Florida, 0 or less across the I-95 corridor Christmas Eve. And as you mentioned, Christmas Day, it's going to be the coldest Christmas day for many cities in decades. But records aside, it's just going to be a wild and unfortunately very wicked in a bad way weather week as we head into the Christmas holiday. Lindsay?
And we saw 41 degrees in Miami. It just looks and feels brutal. Rob, our thanks to you. The worst of that storm is set to strike some of the nation's largest airports during one of the busiest travel times of the year. We're talking about Chicago, Detroit, New York, all bracing for impact. ABC's Gio Benitez is at LaGuardia Airport tonight with how this could impact your holiday trip.
Tonight, that powerful winter storm and life-threatening cold behind it are threatening to disrupt the holiday travel plans for millions of families on the busiest week of the year. In Linden, Washington, near the Canadian border, blinding snow and blizzard-like winds. On Interstate 5 near Everett overnight, this tractor-trailer nearly going over an embankment. Traffic snarled for miles. The storm track taking it through major cities with critical airports. Chicago, Detroit, New York. Storms in these locations could cause travel ripple effects across the country. In Chicago, where they could get a foot of snow this week, officials say they're ready.
350 pieces of snow removal equipment, 5,000 tons of salt, and I think it's 40,000 gallons of de-icer.
Travel experts warning the combination of airlines reducing flights and pre-pandemic holiday demand mean flights are up to 95% full. That means if yours gets canceled, it can be harder than ever to rebook.
Passengers that are looking forward to that center seat being open, probably not going to see that through the traveling holidays. It's going to require some understanding on both sides, both the passenger and the airline, in order to get everybody where they need to be.
Tez joins us now from LaGuardia Airport. Gio, what advice are airlines giving travelers as that storm moves across the country?
Well, Lindsay, all of the major airlines say that Thursday and Friday, they're going to be the busiest, but they're already offering free changes because of that weather you just mentioned. So here's what you need to do. You need to download the airlines app on your phone right away and do that ahead of time, ahead of your flight. That way, if you see any cancellations or delays, you can act quickly and do it yourself, make those changes. It's usually a lot faster than trying to get on the phone with customer service, Lindsay.
You got that right. Hours delays quite often on those phones. Gio, some good tips there. Thanks so much. Now, to late word from Washington today that Ukrainian President Zelenskyy plans to visit the U.S. Capitol tomorrow. This is his first time outside of Ukraine since the war began. Let's go right to ABC's Rachel Scott. Rachel, tell us the latest on these plans.
Well, this is all going to be dependent on security, Lindsay. That's what sources are telling me, which is exactly why this has been held to a very close-knit group. But multiple sources are telling me tonight that President Zelenskyy is expected to visit Capitol Hill tomorrow to address a joint session of Congress. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi telling all members to show up in person for a very special focus on democracy. We are told that he is also expected to visit the White House as well. You said it, this would be his first visit out of Ukraine since the war started with Russia. We all remember what he told David Muir when they sat down for that exclusive interview in Kyiv, that he would be willing to travel to the United States, but that the reason would have to be significant. And so the timing on this is notable because it does come as Congress is considering an additional $45 billion in aid to Ukraine, and as the administration is expected to announce a new round of military assistance, including Patriot missile defense systems, and that is something that Zelenskyy has been pleading for. Lindsay.
Certainly is. Rachel Scott, our thanks to you. Now to the rising triple virus threat as we count down to the Christmas holiday, and growing reports of shortages of over-the-counter children's medicines. ABC's Kana Whitworth reports in from Los Angeles tonight.
Tonight, many parents across the country looking for children's pain relievers and fever-reducing medicines and finding empty shelves instead. In parts of New York, Colorado, California, limited to none in stock. This Massachusetts mom searching desperately. The FDA saying there is no national shortage, but there are constrained supplies and sporadic outages. CVS telling ABC News to ensure equitable access, they're limiting purchases to 2 children's pain relief products in stores and online. And Walgreens allowing people to buy up to 6 of those medications online with no limits yet in stores. At Elements Compounding Pharmacy in Los Angeles, they're ready to start making the children's medications 4 ounces at a time with a prescription. The owner saying the supply from their wholesaler has dropped dramatically.
We currently are getting a small amount every day or every other day.
Smaller than normal?
Yes, much smaller than normal.
It's not just COVID or flu or RSV. It's like everything all at once. So it's just like, it's a very stressful time for moms right now.
Nationwide, 79% of hospital beds are full and respiratory illnesses have been surging since Thanksgiving. Samantha Schumann says her baby Max nearly died from RSV.
Just had like red, droopy eyes.
At just 5 weeks old, he was rushed to the emergency room, entering pulmonary arrest and coding. Doctors saving his life.
It's an astronomical amount of gratitude. I mean, all I dreamed of when we were at the hospital was being home, all under the same roof.
So glad she got that wish. Our thanks to Kana for that. Now to the battle over former President Trump's taxes. The Democratic House Ways and Means Committee has been waging a 4-year battle to see them. And tonight, the committee has voted in favor of publicly releasing documents related to Trump's tax returns. Ranking Republican member Kevin Brady warned it would, quote, unleash a cycle of political retribution in Congress and make American politics more divisive. Here's ABC's chief Washington correspondent, Jonathan Karl.
Today, boxes apparently containing Donald Trump's tax returns were wheeled into the House Ways and Means Committee room, expected to soon be released to the public after a years-long court battle. Major presidential candidates have traditionally released their tax returns, but not Trump.
They've been underwater for a long time. The IRS does not treat me well.
Democrats argued they needed to see the returns to inform legislation and new guidelines around presidential ethics. Just last month, the Supreme Court ruled against Trump's efforts to keep them secret. But with only a few weeks before Republicans take over Congress, Democrats had little time to review the documents.
I firmly believe that it is in the public interest to have as much transparency as possible, so yes.
The top Republican on the committee warned this would set a dangerous precedent, giving future Congresses, Democrat or Republican,
nearly unlimited power to target and make public the tax returns of private citizens. And not just private citizens, political enemies, business and labor leaders, or even the returns of Supreme Court justices themselves.
Our thanks to Jonathan Karl. Now to an urgent parenting alert ahead of the holidays. The FBI is warning of an explosion of so-called sextortion cases. Teens who are tricked into sending explicit photos and blackmailed for money. ABC's Trevor Ault has this story.
The FBI and partner agencies with an alarming alert for parents reporting an explosion of child sextortion cases.
This is such an overwhelming and a huge problem across the world. And the majority of people who have kids that are online and interacting online with strangers have no idea that this is happening.
The FBI says there's been a staggering 7,000 reports this year, resulting in 3,000 victims and more than a dozen suicides. Authorities stress any child could be targeted, but they're seeing 14 to 17-year-old boys most often victimized.
Boys are online a huge amount, and they're in the gaming places. They're in all of these places where it might have just been girls before, but now boys are online just as much.
And the FBI director stresses there's certainly many more victims who haven't come forward out of fear or shame. Investigators and child advocates say it's crucial for parents to talk to their kids.
Parents really need to be talking to their children about making safe and smart decisions, about identifying risky situations and learning how to avoid them. These issues that face us today are only increasing.
Good for parents to be mindful of that. Our thanks to Trevor Ault. Authorities say if your child has been targeted, don't pay the blackmailer. Report them to authorities right away and block them everywhere. The holidays aren't always easy. The most wonderful time of the year can lead to some unusual eating habits and drinking too much. And doctors say that that gives you all the ingredients for cardiac problems. ABC's Andrea Fuji has tips from health experts to keep in mind.
Doctors are urging Americans to put heart health at the top of their holiday to-do list. That's because more people die from heart attacks between December 25th and January 1st compared to any other week of the year, with Christmas Day being the deadliest day of all. Doctors say the leading factors include family stress and falling out of good habits like healthy eating.
It's not just an issue that holiday heart is a benign condition. It actually is a very potentially serious condition that causes people to develop heart failure symptoms.
Increased alcohol intake can also result in what doctors call holiday heart syndrome. That's when binge drinking causes irregular heartbeats, which are associated with a higher risk for stroke.
Certain people might be more predisposed to it, but you could have no history of any heart-related conditions and drink excessively or consume too much alcohol during the holidays, and you could create a situation where you develop atrial fibrillation, congestive heart failure, even in the absence of any pre-existing risk factors.
A lack of sleep is another major concern. A new survey found adults, on average, lose 39 minutes of sleep per night over the holidays. And if you're hosting a holiday party, prepare to get even less shut-eye. Party hosts reported sleeping up to 83 minutes less than usual on their party night, all contributing factors that doctors warn could spoil the holiday fun if you don't make time to take care of yourself.
All our thanks to Andrea for that. Still to come, what China says it now needs as it faces a wave of COVID infections and a growing number of deaths. And a revealing and deeply personal interview with Jeanette McCurdy, how she says her memoir is helping her heal from a troubled childhood. This is ABC News Live.
The crush of families here in Poland.
At refugee centers
in Putin's Russia.
On the ground in Ukraine.
Close to the front line.
Here at the White House.
Destructive Cat 4 storm.
Here along I-5.
Boston is in the bullseye.
Let's go.
ABC News Live, America's #1 streaming news. Anytime, anywhere. Streaming 24/7, straight to you for free.
Thank you for making ABC News Live America's #1 streaming news.
Name?
Special Agent Will Trent, Georgia Bureau investigation.
Will sees things that no one else does.
Was a kidnapping.
Oh, I love some good old-fashioned detective work. You read that crime scene like it was a book.
I bet I can solve this tonight.
You made a bet on this?
So an opportunity to make a little cash.
Why Will Trent? He's good police, and he's objectively hot.
Plus, I'm a pretty observant guy.
This is the place where they found Gloria's body. What do you think? I think I'm angry.
TV's best new drama is now streaming on Hulu.
We can choose to fight and to not back down.
Boots on the ground. It's time.
Swank and Dove have terrific chemistry.
Someone has to expose these guys.
You expose people, you worry about blowback?
That sounds like a threat.
A superior show with a shocking twist you don't want to miss.
Please don't do this.
Alaska Daily, now streaming on Hulu.
As of today, in a big way, we have inaugurated abcnews.com.
A lot has changed in our world since Peter made that announcement. But what hasn't changed is the commitment to groundbreaking reporting and innovation at abcnews.com. And here's to everything ahead.
Okay, it seems everywhere you turn, there is another wild con. And Friday night, we're serving up 2 juicy cons.
Wild. What? No. If you think you would never, ever fall for a con, don't be so sure.
Friday night on 2020.
Several headlines around the world. Chinese health authorities said today that the country needs to expand its resources for treating severe COVID-19 cases. The country is facing a wave of infections and a growing number of deaths since rolling back its zero COVID containment measures. Hospitals are facing shortages of staff, medication, and space. Today, the Taliban issued a ban on women attending all public and private universities. The latest crackdown on women's rights and freedoms goes into effect immediately. Despite initially promising a more moderate rule, the Taliban has banned girls from middle school and high school, restricted women from most employment, and banned them from parks and gyms. Argentina, an estimated 4 million ecstatic fans flooded the streets of Buenos Aires today to cheer their champion soccer team's return. The crowds grew so enormous, in fact, that they actually brought the team's open-top bus to a standstill. The players were not able to continue the parade route by bus because of security concerns, and they ended up continuing on by helicopter instead. More than 30 people were injured in the crush of jubilant fans. Jeanette McCurdy is ready to tell her story. The former child star known for hit roles in iCarly and Sam and Cat has released her new memoir. It is called I'm Glad My Mom Died. It's about how her late domineering mother pushed her to becoming a Nickelodeon star, which led to anxiety, which she says manifested itself into addiction, mental health, and eating disorders and unhealthy relationships. She sat down with our Will Reeve to discuss why she felt it was important to share her story.
Well, thanks for doing this and being here.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Of course, the book it's buzzy, it's deep, it's personal, and it's really, really good. And I want to start there. Had you been writing for a long time and just turned it into a memoir, or did you make a decision and start writing from zero?
No, I made a decision after doing a lot of the processing for the subject matter that I talk about in the book. I had to do all that work on my own in therapy. That was important to me to really explore, since so much of it is so personal. I had to explore it privately and just intimately with myself before going anywhere near exploring it in a creative or public-facing way.
The cover of the book. It's you, you've got this half smile, you've got an urn with confetti popping out. The title is attention-grabbing. Yeah. I'm Glad My Mom Died. Tell me about this design and what you were hoping to achieve with this book cover.
I put a lot of thought into the book cover, and I sort of knew fairly early on what I wanted the concept to be. I wanted it to showcase the dark humor of the book, and I also wanted to showcase the finding inspiration, finding celebration through tragedy. So that was the intention behind confetti popping out of the urn. And I really, it was important to me also that my facial expression was appropriate.
What was your process like as you wrote the book?
I was laughing, I was crying. There was a wide array of emotions, and I enjoyed it a lot. I had a lot of fun writing it.
I was struck, so just on a personal note, my parents died when I was young. Growing up losing parents, I never conceived of the notion that anybody else had a different experience than I did, where these were my heroes and role models and best friends and guiding lights, and then they were gone and I was lost.
That's how I felt when my mom initially died. I was devastated. I felt like I was nothing without her. I didn't know who I was without her. I didn't have an identity without her because she had so vehemently dictated my identity for my entire life. And the process of recognizing, acknowledging, naming, and facing the abuse that I endured at her hand was a difficult process, and it took a long time for me to face that. It was definitely something I was not ready to face initially at all.
What was your mom like?
Oh man, she was complicated. She was layered. She could be incredibly charming and captivating. She had an energy that was at times infectious, and she could also be intimidating. She could also be scary. She was 4'11" and a powerhouse like I've never seen.
In the book, you reveal you wanted to quit acting at a young age.
She's Carly. She's Sam. Sam I am. Carly, Sam. I think they're clear.
You
Demonstrate the
didn't want to tell your mom how you felt, and then you get one of the lead roles on iCarly, and you wrote, everything is going to be different now. Everything's going to be better. Mom will finally be happy. her dream has come true.
Yes.
A lot of work being done in that final clause there. Her dream has come true.
I lived for my mom. I completely lived for her. I wanted to do what she wanted. I truly couldn't identify my own wants and needs when my mom was alive because I was just oriented around what would please her and what would satisfy her. And it's only since she's passed and since I've been able to explore my relationship with her through the writing of this book that I've been able to identify my own wants and needs and discover myself and my authenticity.
Your mom had all these dreams for you on your behalf. She
Yeah.
wanted you to be this big famous actor and do all these things in the entertainment industry.
Sure.
She wanted all these things for you. Did she succeed in her goals for you?
She did succeed in her goals for me. I think she did. But then there was a really interesting turn that happened once I started to get the things that she had wanted for so long. Once I started to achieve the goals that she had set for us. Once I started to achieve the success that I thought would satisfy her, she didn't seem satisfied, and it was it further complicated our relationship.
You write, millions of people dream of being famous, and here I am with fame and hating it. I somehow feel entitled to my hatred since I was not the one who dreamed of being famous. Mom was. Mom pushed this on me. I'm allowed to hate someone else's dream, even if it's my reality. That sounds like a really difficult space to be in every day of your life. What was that experience like?
I'm glad you asked because the highs and lows of life and the juxtaposition of those highs and lows is kind of where my sense of humor comes from. I just, at the time it was definitely difficult, but now I think there's a lot of humor to the fact that I was on this glossy, polished show while also, experiencing a lot of more personal hardships.
Your mom dies from cancer in 2013, and at the time you're struggling with disordered eating and obsessive compulsive disorder, anxiety. What was happening in your life, and was there a specific low point, or was it more of an evolution to get out of it?
It's so interesting to me now because I can recall where I was then, and I wish I knew then where I would be now today. I wish I could have shown myself a snapshot. I would not have believed it. It makes me emotional thinking about it. God, just where I've come from and what I've come to makes me really proud. Everything that happened a long time ago, and now that I'm able to look back on it and laugh about these things that happened, it's amazing. It's truly amazing.
What are your aspirations for the future?
More writing, directing, those are my aims. A recent thought is I might be open to returning to acting at some point. It'd have to be the right thing.
What are your hopes and dreams for this book?
I hope people appreciate the honesty. Well, I know that I put so much of myself into this book. I put 110% all of myself into it, and there are a lot of things that I say that are uncomfortable to say, and that level of honesty has been liberating and fulfilling for me, and I hope it's that way for other people, and I hope they're inspired to maybe explore some of their own uncomfortable truths.
If you could tell your mom one thing today, what would you want her to know?
Oof. That's really tough. That's the longest I've ever paused before answering, and I'm still not sure. What would I want her to know? I'm happier now.
Simple.
Simple.
Yet profound.
I'm happier now, and also I now shampoo my own hair.
Hugely important.
Our thanks to Will Reeve for that. Her book, I'm Glad My Mom Is Dead, is now available to purchase wherever books are sold. And still to come here, why one community gets tens of thousands of letters from children around the world, in fact, every holiday season, and how this community responds.
The website fully crashed!
A nightmare.
So what went wrong?
Everything.
When you hear the name Ye or Kanye West, how do you guys react? Is Ye an anti-Semite?
Nobody crawls into a barrel and shoots themselves in the head. That's a mob hit.
I wanted a little cushion for the cushion. If you get queasy, close your eyes right now.
Catch Watch the holiday Impact My Nightline binge block, streaming on ABC News Live and stream anytime on Hulu. With so much at stake, so much on the line, more Americans turn here than any place else. ABC News World News Tonight with David Muir, America's #1 most watched newscast, now streaming on ABC News Live.
Okay, it seems everywhere you turn, there is another wild con. And Friday night, we're serving up 2 juicy cons.
Wild. What? No. If you think you would never, ever fall for a con, don't be so sure.
Friday night on 2020 at 9, 8 Central on ABC. From history making to history shaking, high stakes, high drama. The year 2022 was...
mind-blowing.
Insane.
Oh my gosh.
How much time do we have?
The breakout stars, the celebrity romance, the music, and...
Wait, what? Oh my God, that was this year.
Whoa.
Great.
Shut up!
It's the year 2022.
Monday night at 9, 8 Central on ABC.
Finally tonight, what's more festive than a town named after the man in red himself? Will Gans takes us to Santa Claus, Indiana, a community that gets tens of thousands of letters from hopeful children around the world every year.
Welcome to the Christmas capital of the continental United States.
Santa Claus, Indiana!
For the last century, volunteers here help respond to more than 20,000 letters from kiddos across the globe. The post office here is the official address for Santa Claus himself.
What are you asking for from Santa Claus this year?
Some football stuff, and a Lamborghini.
Football stuff and a Lamborghini?
Good thing these kiddos have the benefit of living in Santa Claus with Santa Claus. And while Christmas is a quick 40 days for most of us, here the cheer is year-round.
It feels like Christmas every day, even if it's not Christmas.
How'd this southern Indiana town get its name? Legend says they were choosing a name back in 1956, a debate raging on Christmas Eve, when a gust of wind blew the door open and sleigh bells could be heard in the distance. A child yelled, "It's Santa Claus," and everyone agreed. So Santa Claus, Indiana got its name, and the rest is history. Now there's a holiday-themed theme park here.
It's like a place that you can go on roller coasters.
Now, Santa, this is the ugly sweater that I got from you as a gift for visiting Santa Claus. What is it about this sweater that reminds you of Santa Claus, Indiana?
Well, this sweater is very special. It actually contains a little bit of magic. All these sweaters do. Because when people see them, it brings a smile to their face. And that's something that Santa Claus, Indiana has been known to do for a long time.
Merry Christmas.
Lots of heartwarming smiles there. Our thanks to Will for that. And that's our show for tonight. Be sure to stay tuned to ABC News Live for more context and analysis of the day's top stories. I'm Lindsay Davis. I thank you so much for streaming with us. Have a great night.
This is where